Hi, my name's Jake Donnelly, and I like to refer to myself as the red, white, and blue Jew. That's because I love the United States of America, and I know that the United States of America is the best country in the world. America, fuck yeah! I say this as an American, I say this as an Israeli citizen, and I especially say this as a Jewish person. Now here's the thing, with all of that being said, you know you can take it straight from me that when I tell you I'm very concerned how both the left and the right are doing everything in their power to rip this country apart, you know you can take my every word to heart.
Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, you're cool, and fuck you, I'm out.
That's because I care so deeply about this country that I'm willing to piss off just about everybody in this video. Yes, I'm going to piss off the left. Yes, I'm going to piss off the right. I'm really going to piss off some Jews, I believe. I'm also probably going to piss off some Christians, some Muslims, and just about everybody else under the sun. And with that being said, that makes me think that what I'm about to say is pretty fucking straight on the mark.
Look at you, eh? You son of a bitch!
Now, what I want to talk to you today is something that I call the Jewish-American Birthright.
Here I come. Oh, here I come.
So, what is a Jewish birthright? You hear this term all the time about Jewish people and how we are the quote-unquote chosen people.
Maybe I don't look the part.
Most hear that phrase and think, oh my gosh, the Jews, they think that they're better than everybody else. Not quite true at all. What most Jews believe is that we're the chosen people means we are in a specific place, in a specific time, for a specific purpose. That's why I'm sitting right here in this chair. And you want to know what that kind of sounds like? That sounds like a bunch of other religions. We Jews just have the audacity to refer to ourselves as the chosen people. We don't try to make other people submit, kind of like Islam. And we don't try to go around crusading over other people like the Christians. The Jews, for the most part, we like to be left alone. Now, is that something that ever happens? Absolutely not. And that's exactly what I want to talk to you today. If you want to save the United States of America, I have one simple question for you. Do you care about the United States of America enough to listen to some brash, arrogant, asshole American Israeli Jew tell you what you need to do in order to save this great country of ours? America, fuck yeah! So if that answer is yes, awesome. Listen up. Hopefully we can save this country together. If that answer is no, I don't give a fuck, and you can go and change the YouTube channel right now.
And fuck you, I'm out.
So what is the Jewish-American Birthright? The Jewish-American Birthright is taking a look at how the left is messing up this country and taking a look at how the right is messing up this country. And if you be kind of more American Jewish about things, we might get through this together. So first, let's take a look at the left.
Can't wait.
The left right now is being wildly anti-American. They're being wildly anti-American because many on the left are pushing DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion. It is that E in the middle of DEI, that equity, where you all end up at the same spot. That is, at least if you listen to our current Vice President, not really the president at all, Kamala Harris. She says that equity is all about holding some people back while pushing some people forward, so we all end up at the same spot. That's called communism, by the way. That is entirely anti-American.
And if the goal is truly about equality, it has to be about a goal of saying everybody should end up in the same place. And since we didn't start in the same place, some folks might need more. Equitable distribution.
But what really gets me going is the fact that when it comes to equity, we are getting equity good and hard. Did you see those videos? Did you see those pictures of all the riots from everybody that was just so upset about Benjamin Netanyahu, the Prime Minister of Israel, speaking in front of a joint session of Congress.
Take a look at your screen as video shows protesters setting American flags on fire.
All of those people that rioted, they're out. They're not in jail right now, unlike the January 6 people who are still getting thrown into jail as of this day, late in July of 2024. The people who rioted on the streets of New York, of Chicago, and Washington, D.C., they are free to go about with their lives. That is equity. Equity isn't just about getting everybody to somehow finish in the same spot. Equity is all about different rules for different people.
That's racist!
Yes, that's right, equity, where you look at the color of somebody's skin or you look at their socioeconomic status and you decide, you know what? There are some rules, there are some laws that do not apply to some people. That is the most anti-American thing I have ever heard in my entire life. Lady Justice is in no way blind. Lady Justice is actually taking a peek and going, how much melanin do you have?
That's racist!
How much pigmentation do you have? Depending on the answer, you're either going to get a certain amount of punishment and repercussion for your action, or you're not. That is anti-American. And now, this is where I'm going to really speak and hopefully piss off the majority of American Jews. 70% of American Jews vote Democrat. In other words, if you threw a rock at a group of Jews, please don't throw rocks. The Gazans and the people in the West Bank, Judea and Samaria, are doing enough of that right now. So too are the commie cosplaying keffiyeh wearers in the streets of LA and Chicago and New York City. They're throwing enough rocks at us Jewish people. But let's say if you grabbed a group of American Jews, you have a better than average chance of grabbing a Jew who votes Democrat. In other words, you have a better than average chance of grabbing a Jew who is a proponent of DEI, who espouses critical race theory, CRT. And let me tell you, that is wildly anti-American. It is anti-American, and now, Jews, listen up, it's anti-Jewish.
Eric, sweetie, there's a bunch of people showing up in our backyard saying something about a meeting.
You want to know where we got the idea of blind justice from? Do you want to know where we got the idea of equality under the law, no matter who you are? It's in the Bible, specifically in what many of you refer to as the Old Testament or the Hebrew Testament or the Hebrew Bible, what I simply refer to as the Bible, the Tanakh. Torah, Nevi'im, Ketuvim. So Torah, the 5 books of Moses, Ketuvim, the writing, and Nevi'im, the prophets. I just like to call it the Bible. You know what the Bible says about treating people differently under the law? Don't do that! A rich man and a poor man should not be treated differently in the eyes of the law. That's where we got that idea. So many, in other words, a majority of American Jews are pushing something that is not just anti-American, they're pushing something that is anti-Jewish. And I will not stand for that. But it gets worse for Jews who are proponents of critical race theory, of diversity, equity, and inclusion. Because what the Jews of America are saying, the majority, now remember, it's not the Orthodox. The Orthodox vote about 90 to 95% Republican. But for the majority, the average American Jew, what they're doing right now is not just, as I said, anti-American, it is anti-Jewish. But this is the worst part about it. We are telling our next generation, the teenagers and those below them, that you, as a Jew, need to be a part of a protected class. That is utter inanity. It is absolute bullshit.
Well, pardon me, young man, and excuse the shit out of my goddamn French, but did you just threaten me?
The promise of the United States of America is not to make all different sorts of protected classes. The promise and beauty of America is to treat everybody equally at all times. That was the foundational tenet of the United States of America. Not that we care so much for you that we're going to use the government to do and fix everything that you could possibly imagine. No, 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 no. The beauty and foundational compact of America is we don't care about you at all. Here's a bunch of ways that you can protect yourself.
Middle fingers in the air.
But American Jews right now are pushing DEI, saying Jews, who are the most persecuted people in world history, Jews need to be a protected class in America. I absolutely reject that. That is anti-American and it is anti-Jewish. But to say that we need protection here in the United States of America is an absolute disgrace to all those that came before us. Because we Jews, again, the most persecuted people in world history, have not just thrived in the United States of America, we have, make that the other way around. We haven't just survived here. In the United States of America, we have absolutely thrived. And if we actually owned up to our Jewish-American birthright and said, yo, we Jews have had it better here in the United States of America than just about any other place in world history. If we stood up and said that, we would destroy the edifice that is diversity, equity, and inclusion. In other words, if American Jews accepted their Jewish-American birthright, we would destroy the thing that the left is using to destroy America. Our mere existence as Jews here in the United States of America completely destroys DEI. Why is that? That's because DEI is a neo-Marxist practicum that is predicated on the idea of there are people with power and there are people that don't have power. There are people who are the oppressors and there are people who are the oppressed. It takes agency completely out of the equation. It takes personal responsibility and decisions completely out of the equation. In other words, it is one of the most anti-Jewish things in the world. Judaism, the religion that is practiced by Jews, is all about the decisions you make. Judaism and Jewish values is all about the actions that you take. There is no such thing as a good man who thinks good thoughts and then does bad actions. In fact, according to halachic law, according to Jewish law, you can be somebody who thinks badly all the time and then does good things. That person with that evil mind, but who has good actions, is a good person. Likewise, the inverse is true. You can think all the most beautiful thoughts of dancing squirrels and rainbows and unicorns, but then if you act like an asshole, you're just an asshole. So this sophomoric way of perceiving the world, that those who promote DEI, that's what they do. It is such low-level thinking. Oh my gosh, you have power, you must be bad. Oh my gosh, you don't have power, you must be good. No. Absolutely not.
Fuck this shit, I'm out.
The same way that whether or not you are white, black, red, brown, or otherwise doesn't make you any better or any worse than anybody else. Skin color doesn't say if you're good or bad. It is your actions that tell you whether or not you are good or bad. So with this kind of victimized and oppressor-oppressed narrative, the fact that Jews, the most victimized people in the history of the world, are thriving here in the United States shows that DEI is an absolute lie. By the way, this isn't just a Jewish thing. The same holds true for Nigerian immigrants. The same holds true for Chinese Americans. And if you think that Jews or Chinese Americans have had a good go about it, I'd ask you to take a look at what the FDR did when it came to the SS St. Louis. FDR said, we have enough Jews here, you can kind of go back. And, that president that many on the left love so much condemned Jews to their deaths. He also didn't do a single thing when it came to the Holocaust. But sure, FDR was a fantastic president. Same holds true for Chinese Americans. They didn't exactly have it easy when we were blowing them up in order to build our railroads. But you know who is a cohort that is absolutely and fantastically productive and gets all the money, gets so much money, has great income? Chinese Americans. So Jews and Chinese Americans and Asians are of the same. We are a victimized people, but we don't have to adhere, not even don't have to adhere, we should absolutely reject this notion of victimized and victimizer. Look, Jews, we have been victimized throughout our history, but that doesn't make you a victim. And the more that you tell the next generation that they are victims and that they need to be a part of a protected class is a surefire way to turn that next generation into a generation of pathetic, cowardly losers.
Man, you are one pathetic loser. No offense.
And that's what we're doing here in the United States of America. But if the Jewish Americans simply accepted their Jewish-American birthright and said, you know what? I'm not going to stay on the side of these issues. I'm not going to refuse to make waves. In fact, I'm going to stand up, I'm going to be proud, and I'm going to say I, a Jewish person living in America, have it absolutely fantastic here in the United States of America. And everybody else that tells you that they need to be a part of a protected class in order to somehow succeed in America, those people are lying to you.
And the truth shall set you free!
All you have to do is take a look at the affluence of the Jewish American community and say, something seems wrong here. Same again for Asian Americans, and same again for Nigerian Americans, and so many other cohorts. So what's the Jewish American birthright when it comes to taking down the left? Standing up, being proud, and actually being a little bit arrogant to say, look, if you want things to be better, you can follow us. You can do the same things we do. You don't even have to follow the God that we do, but our values are what make us better. Our values helped create the greatest country in the world, the United States of America. Values like the emphasis on the nuclear family, values like the importance of property rights, values like a strong border is an absolute necessity in order to create a fully functioning society. And as I mentioned before, the value that is the most Jewish and American of them all, that we are all treated equally under the law. And if you disagree with that, that's fine. You can do so in America. But just know, if you say as a Jew, and then you say I prefer and promote DEI, that's as a Jew, I prefer and promote something that is anti-Jewish. The same way that somebody says, as an American, I support DEI and CRT. Wonderful. As an American, you support something that is anti-American. So Jewish Americans, if you want to help save this country from the evil that the left is pushing, stand up and say, I am a Jew, and I am not just surviving here in the United States of America, I am thriving in the United States of America, and here's the great fucking news. If you want this goodness, you can get it too. You can achieve it as well. That is the American dream. That is the promise of America, that if you want to work your ass off, there is a chance, not a big one, but better than anywhere else in the world, that if you work your ass off, you can create success for yourself, for your family, for your community, and for your country. So that's how the left, and unfortunately the majority statistically of American Jews, are destroying America. But now it's time to take a look at how the right is destroying America. And I say this as somebody who, I'm a big old fan of the Second Amendment. I am somebody who has a flag in his living room, the son of a Vietnam Marine tanker and the son of a woman who started her own very successful small business. Why? Because here in America, you can go from watered down ketchup poor like my father into somebody who had a comfortable life until the very last day of his life. And I will always thank the United States of America for that. But I'm also Jewish, which is to say I'm part of a nation that no matter where we went, it almost didn't matter. If we went somewhere, we were going to be persecuted for the deity that we believe in. Hashem, the name, God, whatever you want to call the thing that it is the Jews believe in. El Shaddai, we've got all different sorts of names for the big man. But as a Jew, things haven't exactly been great for my people, historically speaking. The greatness of America is that here in the United States of America, Jews have always been allowed to pray to the God that we want to pray to, which is why it is so concerning to see the rise of Christian nationalism on the right.
Let's get ready to rumble!
Now, before I really get going on the Christian nationalists, a quick kind of aside. I agree that what is really destroying America is a lack of religiosity. I truly and sincerely believe that what you see from these people on the left who are giving us equity good and hard with their Black Lives Matter riots and with their anti-American riots where they're defacing a remake, a fabrication, I believe, of the Liberty Bell. What these people are giving us is equity, good and hard, and the reason that they have such a religious fervor is because they don't have a religion other than neo-Marxism, other than progressivism. That's their religion. So those on the right are seeing that drop in religion and responding with, we need more religion. Absolutely. I completely, unequivocally agree with you.
Very nice. High five.
However, that doesn't mean that there's only one religion in America. This country was founded on Judeo-Christian values. And I know it's hip to skip over the first part of that term, but Judeo-Christian values. And more than anything else, here's the promise of America. It doesn't matter what God you pray to. If it's Jesus Christ, that's good. If it's Hashem, that's good. If it's Allah, that's good. If you're a Sikh, if you're a Druze, if you're a Buddhist, if you're a Jainist, it doesn't matter. In the United States of America, you have freedom of religion, not freedom from religion, which is what a lot of people on the left want to talk about when they have an issue having the 10 Commandments in classrooms, and they're saying, oh, but we shouldn't have religion in the classroom. Have you ever looked at a dollar bill before in your life? In God we trust. Have you ever looked at the Constitution? We are endowed by our Creator with certain, depending on your translation, inalienable or unalienable rights. This country was founded with God at the top. And why is that? Because if you don't have some higher power keeping you in line with your moral system, you can convince yourself that anything is good and anything is bad. As I always bring out and tell people, Hitler didn't just think what he was doing was okay. He thought it was an absolute righteous thing that he was doing. So when the right sees this increase in secularism while the country is starting to tear itself apart, I understand the intrinsic pushback that you have. But you don't just get to push your religion. If you want to go into the public square, hell, if you want to go knock on doors, you are more than allowed to do that. Here in the United States of America, you can proselytize. You can tell me all about the greatness of Jesus Christ. I might not agree 100%, but you know what? I'm okay with you doing your shit. Same thing holds true for Muslims. Same thing holds true for the Seventh-day Adventists.
Hello, my name is Elder Price, and I would like to share with you the most amazing book.
I don't care. In the United States of America, I get to say, I don't care what God you believe in. I do care about your values, though. And that is why the right gets so upset. And I understand that impulse for so many on the right to go, we need more Christianity. We need more Christian values the same way we need more Jewish values. Those values that are found in the Ten Commandments and should, by the way, be in classrooms. Our country was founded on the precepts of the Ten Commandments. That's how we can say, as Americans, what is good and what is bad. That's how we know it. We know it because the people that founded this country said, look, these are the values that we abide by. But one of those values that the right is currently trying to destroy is this. It is freedom of religion, not from religion, and there's not one religion that is more acceptable here in the United States of America. That is simply not the truth. So when you see somebody like Harmeet Dillon, who somehow is even more to the right than I am, Harmeet Dillon has done so much good for the conservative cause that I wish I could do even half of what she has done. She has taken on the Biden administration and their unconstitutional vax mandates, and she won. This person is almost certainly more hardcore conservative than you are. Yet, when Harmeet Dillon did an Ardasa, which is a Sikh prayer at the Republican National Convention, the response from the right was apoplectic. People were livid. In fact, oh my goodness, could you see and could you believe that the RNC was featuring a pagan prayer? Yes, I can. And you want to know why? Because we have freedom of religion. That means all religions in the United States. You don't get to crusade the same way somebody else doesn't get to go on a jihad here in the United States. You can preach your values, but the second that you start compelling somebody to adhere to a certain religion, no. There are certain values that you actually do have to adhere to in the United States, but is there one specific religion? Absolutely not. And the response by the right to the Ardasa by Harmeet Dillon was the most anti-American thing I've seen the right do in quite some time. So those on the right, you have to allow others to have their religion. And I'm going to say this as distinctly, as bluntly, and as clearly as I possibly can. Your right to pray to Jesus is no stronger than somebody than Muhammad's right to pray to Allah than my right to pray to Hashem. All of our rights to pray to the gods that we want or to not pray to any god, all of those are equal. One is not more than the other. They are all equal. So while the left is trying to destroy America with its anti-American equity, we need to look at people's skin color or socioeconomic class in order to decide whether or not the person that broke the law should go to jail, that's anti-American, anti-Jewish bullshit.
Horseshit!
The same is true on the right. You want to have yourself a Christian nation? I'm okay with having a Christian values nation. I'm not okay with having just a Christian nation. And you want to know how I know my side is right? I'm not going to go to somebody that's been talking over the last, 2 decades or so. When I make my claim, I'm going to point to Thomas Jefferson. I'm going to point to James Madison. Those are the people who tell me that my reaction and analysis of the current situation is spot the fuck on. And if you have a problem with that, take it up with Thomas Jefferson. Take it up with James Madison. Because you, by demanding one religion over all of the others, you are being just as anti-American as these jackasses over here on the left. And for Jewish people, your Jewish-American birthright is to tell people on the left and people on the right, be more like us.
I see pride.
Can't hear you.
I see power. I see a badass mother who won't take no crap off of nobody.
I know many of you might not like that, but I also don't care. Equality under the law. The left, you're getting it wrong. That is a Jewish value. It is an American value. You on the right who are trying to proselytize when you're trying to go on a crusade or you're trying to do a jihad, you don't get to do that either. Here in the United States of America, Jews want to be left the fuck alone. It never happens. Ever, ever, ever happens. But if you want this country to continue to be the place where all religions are accepted, where all peoples are accepted, where everyone is treated equally, Jews, you need to accept your Jewish-American birthright and say to those on our side, if you're on the left, if you're somebody that preaches equity, you don't get to do that. You don't get to demand preferential treatment here in the United States of America. The only thing you get in the United States of America is the demand of equal treatment. And you over here on the right, you hardcore Christian nationalists, or you Muslims who want to make us all submit, you don't get to do that here either. Everybody is accepted here. Everybody is treated equally in the United States of America, and that is the Jewish-American birthright. Equality under the law and freedom of religion for all. That's the Jewish-American birthright. And if we Jews refuse to stand up and accept our birthright, then guess what? Then we deserve all the bullshit and hate and harm that we are getting right now. Because also, to stay quiet in the face of stuff that is so anti-American is something that Jews should be ashamed of. We owe this country so much. It allowed us to live and pray and thrive. Has it been easy? Hell fucking no. But when is life ever easy? Not for Jews, not for Christians, not for Muslims, not for anybody. Life is difficult. That is the promise of America. That life is difficult. But if you want to stand up, if you want to turn yourself into the Rock and just say, bring it on, life,
just bring it, bitch!
That's the promise of America. To stand up and say, you know what, life is difficult, but I believe myself to be an absolute badass.
Once again, I see pride. Junior, I see power. I see a badass mother who won't take no crap off from nobody. That's right.
And so I'm going to take on this world, and I know I'm going to succeed, and I'm going to achieve. It's on this side? No, it's on this side over here. I'm going to achieve the American dream.
American dream.
So help me stand up and accept the Jewish-American birthright, to simply accept the American birthright. Equality under the law, freedom of religion for all. All right, I'm going to go way deep on Jewish values in my next video, but if you like this, please like, subscribe, share the video as far as possible. I just want this country to be the country that I grew up in, where everybody was treated equally under the law, and I was allowed to pray to the God that I want to pray to. It shouldn't be that difficult, and the reason that it shouldn't is because it's the most American thing in the world. Well, I'm Jake Donnelly. Can't believe I messed that part up. I'm Jake Donnelly. I'm the red, white, and blue Jew. I hope you enjoyed this. If you didn't, as always, I sincerely do not care. But until next time, I hope you and yours are healthy and happy. Goodbye for now.